Kia ora koutou tamariki mā, Whaia Vanessa here again. I've got another puka puka that I'd like to read to you today. This is called Watercress Tuna and the Children of Champion Street. So here's our front cover again. Our spine and our back cover. And on the front cover we've got our title. The author, Patricia Grace, she wrote the words, and the illustrator, the person who drew the pictures, Robin Kahukiwa. I'm going to put on my beautiful flower crown, aikatu, that Leyland's Nana made for me at Kindy to read this special story. Watercress Tuna and the Children of Champion Street. Under the watercress in a creek called Cannon's Creek, there lives a tuna with a magic throat. There's his magic throat. One day, Tuna made a twist in his tail and bounced out of Cannon's Creek. Over Cannon's Creek Tavern and Cannon's Creek Shopping Centre, over Cannon's Creek Primary School, and on to Champion Street. Tuna bounced into Kelleher's house and opened his mouth wide. Here's Kelleher. Kelleher reached in and took out a kie. She put the kie on and she began to dance. Tuna bounced into Karen's house and opened his mouth wide. Karen reached in and took out buckled shoes. He does have a magic throat, doesn't he? She put on the buckled shoes and began to dance. Tuna bounced into Hirini's house and opened his mouth wide. Hirini reached in and took out a pew-pew. He put on the pew-pew and began to kani-kani dance. And there's Tuna going out the back door. Tuna bounced in Tuani's house and opened his mouth wide. Tuani reached out and took out a pate. A pate. He beat the pate and began to dance, a special drum. Tuna bounced into Roimata's house and opened his mouth wide. Roimata reached in and took out a poi. She twirled the poi and began to dance. Tuna bounced into Carver's house and opened his mouth wide. Carver reached in and took out a hoe. He put on the hoe and he began to dance. Good dancing. Here goes Tuna out the back door. Tuna bounced into Ngā's house and opened his mouth wide. Ngā reached in and took out a pariu. She put on the pariu and began to dance. Beautiful dancing. Tuna bounced into Losa's house and opened his mouth wide. Losa reached in and took out an ula. She put the ula around her neck and began to dance. Tuna bounced into Jason's house and opened his mouth wide. Jason reached in and took out a paper streamer. He let the streamer fly and began to dance. Tuna bounced into Whaawhetai's house and opened his mouth wide. Whaawhetai reached in and took out an ailoafi. He tossed the ailoafi in the air and he began to dance. Then Kalahia, Karen, Hirini, Tuani, Roimata, Kawa, Ngā, Losa, Jason, Whaawhetai and Tuna went out onto Champion Street and danced. All of them together. They danced all day. They danced all night. And they didn't go to bed until the next morning. Even the tuna was tired. That's a pretty cool puka puka, isn't it? I hope you like that one too. Anyway, mā te wā. Bye for now. See you again soon.